So today I was kind of thinking about basking as a kind of like a icebreaker to meditation. So Abraham's concept of basking is, you know, very light appreciation and accessible things, you know, again with momentum. We're building momentum when we bask into enjoyment, into good feeling thoughts, into something good in our lives that we can easily connect with. And the thing I love about basking is even if you have only 5 minutes, that's enough. That's enough for 5 minutes to think, oh, I appreciate this pillow. I appreciate this mattress. I appreciate the privacy of my bedroom. Abraham has a long list of these that they talk about, and those are three that I would go to. And I appreciate I'm awake, I'm alive, my heart beat through the night for me. And the heart beating every day of our lives is, for me, the truest form of abundance, right? Like, it just does that for us. That's its job. And I think that is incredible. I love actually thinking about my organs and spending some time appreciating them and all the things I don't know how they do, what they do. And some of them, I don't even know what you do, appendix, but I appreciate each one of them because I have them for some reason. So I appreciate all of them. Obviously, some are more obvious than others. Appreciate my lungs, breathing that air in and out without my help, especially while I'm asleep. I don't have to do anything there. So with basking, if meditation seems too overwhelming or daunting, to bask your way into it with general good feeling statements like, oh, the sun is up. I love how it warms our planet. That's so nice. All the planets in their alignment. Like each of those pathways, my brain doesn't want to work because it's too early in the morning time. Each of those orbits, right, and how they don't intersect. Like, there's a lot of the orbits and they're different, right? I mean, each of our planets has a different number of days in its year. So that's pretty crazy pants that they all hang out around the sun and never crash into each other. They're always in perfect alignment. That's pretty cool. So just that idea of the planets, they're with us and they are doing their thing and just moseying along their course. Like, that is cool. So like these little things, the tides moving, the food grown on our planet, like stay nice and general. We're not getting into nitty gritty of where we'd like things to be better. That's not what basking is about. Basking is general good feeling statements. And so I like to bask before meditation because I find it energizes how I feel first waking up brand new, in the day, right? Every night is a chance to reset, especially if we do, as I've spoken about before a little, like if we do a little something at night, if we bask into sleep at night and then bask as we wake up, we're already doing the momentum thing. Even though momentum stops as we sleep, we've prepared to have a little good feeling momentum as we go to bed at night. So it's very accessible in the morning. The last thing you think about when you go to bed at night is usually one of the first things that pops up when we wake up. That's by design, right? So we can choose what we think about before we go to bed so we wake up with a good feeling kind of start to our day. And so for my 30 days of focus, basking plays an integral part because I love to bask right before meditation. So generally what I do is when I wake up, I'll grab a couple glasses of water. Years ago, I realized it was important to drink more water. I drank way too much pop way too late in life. And so it was really time to not do that anymore because it's just not good for us as we get older, obviously. And, you can tell that it doesn't feel great to not drink water and drink this, sugary beverage instead. So I made a decision to, I can drink a little water in the morning. There's no reason why I can't make that happen. So after I drink 2 glasses of water, after I've woken up and I bask a few statements, then I'll want to do my yoga because I like to get moving. And usually right after I do my yoga, that's when I'll meditate. So yeah, basking our way into feeling good, right? Because then, meditation has an easier job if we're kind of at a good feeling or neutral good feeling or neutral place. That's where you want to be for meditation, right? Because when people say, when they meditate, oh, my mind is doing too many things, it's thinking too many things. Well, that's true. Our minds want to solve problems. They want to be involved. That's their job. They want to be involved. So to let that happen in a way that feels better, if we offer these good feeling things for our brain to contemplate, then the brain is doing a little work, right? So there's that aspect of it. And then also the other aspect would be, like a good feeling statement, a precursor. And then the other aspect would be that idea that, okay, now I'm ready to quiet my mind. And one of the first meditation teachers courses I listened to on Insight Timer, I will find his name and I will put it in the description of the video. He walked you through 21 days worth of different, like, building upon what you learned the day before, meditation. And one thing that he talked about was when the thought comes and you think, oh, I'm not supposed to be thinking a thought, instead of thinking I'm not supposed to be thinking a thought, he said, you just recognize it's okay. There's a thought. Okay. Thank you, thought. It's okay. And another one, I heard a woman say, thank you, thought. Goodbye, thought. We're not judging any of these thoughts we're having. We are letting them be. We're letting them be. We're going to let them be, and we're going to continue to focus into quieting our mind, or I guess defocusing into quieting our mind, to give us that neutral place to kind of start our day. If we come into our day and dealing with other people with a certain amount of stillness, with a certain amount of feeling good already, with a certain amount of love, with whatever we discover after we've gone through a meditation, which, I love how my breath is gentled, right? Sometimes I breathe a little too heavily or unevenly, if I'm exerting myself or whatever, as everyone does. But sometimes I find that even if I'm walking, I might just be weirdly breathing out. And so what meditation does for me is it just kind of levels that playing field, right? And so to bask right before I meditate as a kind of an appreciation, basking is appreciation. So as I start my day with basking and appreciating and lead myself into a nice meditation where I've quieted my mind, then I've done 2 gorgeous things for myself that just help me feel better and that help me prepare me to meet the day. So basking is akin to appreciation. Meditation is akin to like the releasing of thought, right? And just that neutral space that will lead to good feeling things, because when you're in the neutral place and you know that you want to feel good and you've done some basking, good feeling thoughts will join the basking thoughts that you spent a little time on. Abraham says, a thought it just takes 68 seconds, but what's the breakdown? 17 seconds. So with a 17-second thought, if you can hold a thought for 17 seconds, the momentum will grow. And then more thoughts will join it in that direction that also feel good. So basking is just another way to be mindful of thinking good feeling thoughts over, oh, I have to go to work today, or I don't want to do this, whatever. And it's okay to have those feelings. But after having those feelings and acknowledging those feelings, they don't really serve us, right? Once we've acknowledged those feelings, if we do nothing about them, then just the snowball rolls down the hill the other way, right? The way we don't want, where, now we're thinking this thing about something that happened, and now we're thinking this other thing. So it's really important to be mindful of what's going on in your brain and just be like, oh, where did that thought come from? And not necessarily trying to trace anything back. But the second you recognize that a thought doesn't feel good, okay, well, when you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and I don't want that. If we can switch our focus, we're better off, because you're either looking in the direction of your desires or you're looking in the absence of your desires, right? You're either looking in one way or the other way. You can't look at both at the same time. So our emotional guidance system, our emotions, are indicators of what we could do next. Oh, I'm not feeling so good. Well, if I go general with my thoughts, if I gentle this for myself, if I'm kind to myself, if I realize in the moment of negative emotion I'm creating, then that's my starting point. Okay, I know what I don't want, this feeling that I'm having, and this looking at what I don't want. Okay, I can recognize that. I can thank my emotional guidance system. I can know that I'm creating. I'm asking with a strong desire. Strong desire is good. Without strong desire, we wouldn't be eternal. Well, we're never done. We want to be eternal. That's better feeling. So in that moment, I can make a new choice. Well, I've been here before, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to feel negative emotion. It's okay to expand. That's expansion. Don't have to expand in negative emotion, but negative emotion is definitely all about expansion. So in that moment, you're growing your vibrational escrow, as Abraham will call it. You're growing your vortex. You're defining by thinking about the absence of what you want, like Neville would say, or just relating this concept to Neville. You're defining what you do want, right? So you're defining living in the wish fulfilled. When you're living something you don't want, the opposite is what you do want. So you are defining what you do want. And again, it's just getting that focus back on that. And so meditation really helps with that. I've been meditating since 2019 and I've never looked back. And I encourage you to use the free tools that are out there. Insight Timer is amazing. There are tons of instructors on there, and you can donate to them if you find a connection to them. Obviously, you can sign up for their service as well, but the free program has a lot of stuff on it. So if you're new to meditation and you're not sure where to start, guided short meditations are easiest, right, at the outset. Or if you like nature sounds, that's something to think about too. You can start with short nature sounds. You can start with just a 5-minute nature sound. There's even a 1-minute breathing meditation, which I've definitely used while, say, waiting in line for coffee on a break from work. You just toss that 1 minute on, and it's just a 1-minute breathing meditation. So, this can be done in a ton of ways. There's no one way to do this, and I do different kinds. I do guided, and I like rain sounds. So there's tons of ways to do this. There's no one way. And that's the beauty of being alive on the planet. The variety. So I invite you to bask as a way to, if you don't meditate, as a way to work towards meditation if it feels a little too daunting. I invite you to bask, and I invite you to bask because it feels wonderful. It feels delicious to bask, right? It feels like I'm appreciating. And when we appreciate life, we know we're close to the source. We know we're close to source. We know we're close to the source within, because source appreciates life, right? Source wouldn't have made us if source, didn't want us to experience everything that life has to offer, right? So it's appreciation is kind of like it's even more powerful than meditation, Abraham would say, right? Because it's so pure, and appreciation basically is love. The feeling of appreciation is the feeling of love, right? They're right up there. And so when you're feeling that, you can't help but know that source loves you. You can't help but know it. And the opposite is true too, because if you didn't separate ish, we can't really be separated, but you didn't separate from source, then you wouldn't know the absence of the disconnect of not being on the same page with source, right? So it's the absence of what we want and the presence of what we want again. And so the presence of what we want obviously is that connection with source, and appreciation will do it every time. So I mean, that's one of the reasons why I call the channel Appreciate and Allow, right? Because when we appreciate, it is the gateway to allow. So, and that, again, it is under construction because I'm not sure I'm going to keep it. But, yeah, let's appreciate, let's allow, let's continue having fun. 30 days. So for me, it's day 6. For these videos, it's day 2. And, yeah, so try a little basking in your life. You might find that you really like it. Okay,